Hello, everybody. My name is Aaron.
And I'm Mike.
And I'm Jeff.
Welcome back, Jeff. Good to have you back.
Good
So
to be back.
let's jump right into it. During last week's event, there was graphics presented to the screen a few times. Past champions specifically was one of them, where it listed all the past champions of the WGC match play. It omitted the 2017 winner, Dustin Johnson, and then 2018 winner, Bubba Watson. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's so stupid.
I wonder, was it a typo?
Nope.
Yeah.
It looks like it was an intentional omission.
Yeah, it seems like something that somebody was having a temper tantrum would do to me. I mean, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I don't understand. They did the same thing for the players, apparently, too.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see the one on the players. I just saw this one. But this isn't an event that's entirely controlled by the PGA Tour, but they do have some control over it. They were able to keep live players out of it, so that helped. But PGA Tour, F you. This is a childish move. This was stupid. Why would you omit Dustin Johnson, who's won how many tournaments, Aaron? Do you remember?
24, 25.
Something ridiculous, right? And Bubba Watson, two star players of the tour. Bubba has one of the best Masters wins that I can remember in a long time. Some of those shots he hit, especially the one out of the pine straw when he was on the right side, was amazing. And to just drop the two of them because they're live golfers, come on, man. I mean, people get on live for being petty and childish. This is as or more than live on some of the things that they're doing. So
yeah, nothing's going to change the fact that they were past champions. Nothing.
No,
you can't erase that. So embrace it as opposed to giving them fuel to figure out what's not working with their product and really, make it better.
Right. We get slammed a lot for our anti-live rhetoric, is what some people would say. And we're not anti-live. We just think the product isn't where it needs to be for the most part. And my problem with the players has always been, don't tell me you're not going for the money when you're going for the money. Just own it. I don't give a shit why you go.
Yeah.
You're an adult. You can make your choice.
Yeah, they've got the talent. They can exercise that talent any way they see fit. It's not my talent.
Right.
Yeah. The PGA has to take some responsibility and ownership here. So while this is all going on, now they're doing Masters 9 days away. They're talking about the broadcast, and are they going to limit how much airtime the live players get? The Sean McManus, who's the CBS Sports chairman, was asked about that specifically, and he said, we're not going to cover up or hide anything. As I've said often, our job is to cover the golf tournament. We're not going to show any different treatment for the golfers who have played in the live tour than the other golfer. If there is a pertinent point or something that we feel should bring up in our coverage on Saturday or Sunday or on other coverage throughout the week, we're not going to put our heads in the sand. So,
and at the end of the
we
day,
don't have to worry about that.
I mean, doesn't Augusta have full broadcasting rights? So they can control. They control a lot of it, right? Right.
They threw Gary McCord out. Remember that story where
right.
he said something, the greens were as fast as somebody that just got a bikini wax or something stupid like that, and they were pissed off about that, and he's never been back. So, they can control some of the stuff. I don't know that they control 100% of the broadcast, though. So,
it's one of, if not the most prestigious tournament in golf. Put it down. Just show it. If DJ's, and winning it, and he's got the last tee time on Saturday because he's got the best score, you should, that should be your coverage, right?
Yeah, I want to see the live golfers. There's some great golfers here that I want to see play. I could care less about Patrick Reed or Sergio Garcia. I just don't like them. They rub me the wrong way as a fan. Yeah, but it's not going to prevent me from watching it.
Right, and that wouldn't change if they were in live or not.
Right.
No. No, I want to see DJ. I want to see Cam. I want to see where their game is at. Is it any good? Are they going to compete? Part of the rub that a lot of people have on live golfers is you're not playing for anything, so you don't have to work as hard at your game. And as we described last week, if I was Siwon Kim, I would be pretty much okay with that because I've won $240,000 in 2 events by shooting a combined 42 over par.
Rumor has it I could shoot 42 over par.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So Liv has gone through 19 players. They turned over 19 players from last year, but they kept Siwon Kim. Interesting. It's an interesting choice. A wise choice, Cotton? I don't think so. Anyway, we'll see if he sticks around.
Maybe he's just a little off.
Or a lot off. I mean, we could put up those scores. I mean, I'd get paid $120,000 for shooting those scores, right?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be
21
nice.
over. Yeah, average 21 over per tournament. Sure.
That would be really nice. So if you had the ability to extend an invite to the Masters, which they have done, and they did so this year for Gordon Sargent and Japan Tour Pro Kazuki Higa, would you extend an invite to Charles Howell III, who Phil Mickelson claims is playing some outstanding golf right now on the LIV Tour?
I mean,
go ahead, Aaron.
I don't know. Where is he at right now on the rankings? What did he do on the PGA Tour before he went over to LIV?
He was on 700 starts ish, had 3 wins, perennial top 100 player. But
has he never gone to the Masters before?
Player. I think he must have gone once or twice, but he's never done much. Charles Howell, he's won like $40 million on the PGA Tour.
Yeah,
just by being a consistent somebody that shows up, right? But do you think that his play, because he won the first event this year and he finished 5th in the second event, is that enough to warrant a Masters invite?
So I'm looking at some of his highlights of his career, right? And like the best he's done in a major is tied for 10th in the 2003 PGA Championship, right? I would pick an up and comer if it were me. Like I'd find somebody who's really hot that's a young golfer.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I don't think I'd pick Charles Howell III to play in the Masters based off of 2 performances on a LIV Tour.
Yeah, me either. I think it's just a little crazy that he's trying to make the argument that he deserves to be there. He's not top 50 in the world. He hasn't won, and he hasn't done the things that are required of somebody to get into the Masters. So I don't understand why this is a huge thing. I mean, I get that they can extend an invitation, but I don't know that it's necessarily belongs to him.
Yeah, I don't think it does either. Again, I take issue with people that say LIV Tour is the most competitive tour and they have the best golfers on the planet, right? They have some great golfers and they can be a competitive tour at some point. They're just not there yet. Look at the last 2 events. Where are the names? They're not at the top of the leaderboard. So, there might be something behind you have nothing to play for, therefore you're not going to work as hard at your game. I'm not sure I buy that, but there could be something there. So I don't know. USGA CEO Mike Wan apparently was listening to Sirius XM PGA Tour radio last week when a topic came up that he's pretty passionate about. And he said that he called in, they got him on the air. He said, I couldn't listen to that show any longer without calling you. They were talking about rolling back the ball and the what would happen if that actually happens. He went on this, wasn't a rant, but he went on to say, nobody loves drivable par 4 more than us. We love the game right now. I watched that last night and loved every second of Rory doing that. They're talking about the drive that he hit to within 5 feet on the par 4, right?
Yeah.
So he said that if this were to go in place in 2026 and the PGA Tour still wants that to be a drivable par 4. They're going to take the tee box and they're going to move it up 15 yards. And Rory's going to do the same thing he did last night. Now, the difference is Rory's kids and his kids, if athleticism continues to grow, which we both know is true and probably will happen, and he doesn't want to hinder athleticism, doesn't want to hinder advancement. I want people to continue to grow, but I don't want to watch a golf course have to go buy another 17 acres of land just for Rory's kids.
I think it's like we talked about before. I think it's just someone who doesn't understand the limitations that people have. Like, this isn't something where this is an exponentially growing problem. There is a cap to this at some point, unless, again, golf ball or golf club advancements go so far beyond the realm of possibility where people are hitting 400-yard drives all the time. I don't see that being a realistic thing.
Yeah, the manufacturing companies are getting involved in this as well. So I subscribe to TaylorMade and get emails from them all the time, and they actually put out put out an email addressing this and soliciting feedback from everyday golfers. Like, they are actively saying, please tell us what you think. Take this survey, give us your feedback, because we have open communication with the PGA and we want to make sure that gets heard, right? So everybody's keenly interested in what's going on with this issue. I understand the why and the what. I just don't agree with the why. I just let him play. You still got to hit the shot.
Yeah. JT made it. I think he said it fairly succinctly. He said they're creating a solution for a problem that doesn't exist.
It doesn't
You're
exist
talking
right now.
15 yards.
Yeah.
15 yards.
Yeah.
Let's go make everybody play the same golf ball that only flies this far, and now we're going to move it up 15 yards. No, move it back. And I'm sorry, if the golf course can't move back, pick a different golf course. Maybe it's time we see some 8,000-yard golf courses on the PGA Tour.
Well, you can make the difficulty, make it a higher risk reward, right?
Yep.
Okay, I got nowhere to go with this hole. So what I'm going to do is surround the green on two sides with water instead of bunkers. And now when you miss long because you're crushing it, guess what?
Yeah, you take a stroke. You can also do, and we've talked about this before too, they could narrow fairways. They could grow out the rough longer. They could do all these things. Yeah, they could put trees in places to make it harder to go for that shot. Like, there are ways to make the game harder without rolling back equipment and the golf ball specifically,
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with them bringing in courses that are longer either. There's 5 great courses in this. There's one actually not far from us in French Lick that's over 8,000 yards. You could play an 8,000-yard course. I'd love to see a pro do that. Let's see what they can shoot when they're playing these courses that are rated at 78 or 79 because they're over 8,000 yards. Let's see how you do there, especially when the greens roll at 12, 13 on the stem meter. So
Right.
Hank Haney wrote in and he said, I just don't get it. Go play a different course. There's plenty of golf courses long enough to host for pro golfers.
Hank, I got a response to this 2 sentences. I don't get it. Go play another course. That's all I got to say.
But he's not wrong, right? Maybe it's time to move on from some
not.
of these courses that aren't considered long enough for the PGA Tour. Maybe they should take some of these courses and convert them over to be LPGA specific courses and to have some tee boxes that give those ladies a better risk reward because nothing's set up for them anymore, or ever.
Right.
So I don't know. It's interesting. There's going to be a lot of debate on this topic, and it's going to happen pretty hot and heavy coming up here, especially during the off season, I feel. So
it's just a dumb rule. Like, I just don't understand what the leading bodies of the PGA and the RNA see is a threat to golf right now. Like, there's no crazy threat. Not everyone's out there bombing the ball 375 like Rory is. And that shot is still very difficult for him to pull off. He had to hit it perfect to get it to where he needed to go. It could have easily been bad.
Well, and didn't he hit a downslope in the fairway too? Like, wasn't there
an
assist on the bounce? So it wasn't like he carried 360 and it rolled out to 375. you know.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it. I think it was last week or the week before. We talked about the difference between John Daly in 1999 and Rory today was like 22 yards or something ridiculous on the length of their driver. You can't tell me that 22 yards is making a difference. If you were talking, 50, 60, 70 yards, all right, maybe there's something to this then. But we're not talking that. There are still limitations on what the human body can do, how much torque and speed you can get through the ball. Watch the long drive competition. How many balls do they hit off the grid? Because it's hard to control that speed. And you're not seeing these guys.
Sorry, go ahead.
You're not seeing these guys from the long drive come over and hit the ball 400 yards consistently on the tour. Right. Kyle Berkshire, who was one of the greatest long drivers ever, struggles to keep things in control when he's on a golf course. You go to his channel, he's not shooting 12, 13 under par consistently, right? He's around a par or just a little over par golfer every time I see him. So,
and those long drive guys are using golf clubs that are illegal to use on the PGA Tour. They're
correct.
Longer,
and balls
they're probably,
too.
Yeah, they're probably heavier. The balls they're using are more springy. They're using equipment designed to hit the balls farther. And I have no problem with the PGA Tour limiting driver length, weight, things like that. But the golf ball, I feel like we're in a really good place with golf ball technology now, where I feel like we found the spot where we could stay. It took a long time to get here, but
right. And just so everybody doesn't think that we think the PGA Tour controls it. They don't. We know it's the USGA and the RNA.
Right.
Those are the people, the bodies that control what the equipment is.
Yeah, USGA.
What the stuff is, right? So as a matter of fact, was it, oh my God, what's his name? I can't remember off the top of my head. Give me 2 seconds. It's Matt Fryer. He's a YouTube golfer. He just reviewed the Cut Blue golf ball. So Aaron, you and I both tried Cut when they first came out. Remember, his mail order only.
Yeah.
So the Cut Blue golf ball is something that they're advertising is as good as premium balls. It's going to go as far, blah, blah, blah. $25 for 12 balls. Matt reviewed it, said it sounds firmer than it feels. But it said sounded better with the driver than it did with irons and things like that in the putter. He was able to hit all the different shots. He was able to hit high ball, low ball, a draw, a fade, pretty on at will. He's a good golfer too, by the way. Durability wasn't exactly where he thought it should be. If you're going to compare it to a premium ball, there was some cuts and scrapes on it and stuff like that. The cover was shinier, things like that. But on the driver, it outperformed all the balls he's tested this year, including the Pro V1.
Weird.
Interesting.
Yep. He hasn't tested a ton of balls. He tested that one, the Pro V1, the Mizuno RB Tour X, the Kirkland, and the Encore Vero X2. The average carry was 12 yards better than the Pro V1 with the Cut Blue golf ball. He carried it
20 yards
on average. 12 yards.
12. Geez,
yards. 12 is still substantial.
That is substantial, but I thought you said 20. I was like, that's crazy.
No.
Like, that is absurd.
12 better than a Pro V1. And he's a very good golfer. He's consistent. He can hit the ball consistently the same time, same shot, right, every time.
Yep.
But he is carrying that ball 299. He's not a big guy. So I agree with you. I think golf balls and technology is exactly where you want them. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Drivers, I don't know, right? I don't play a new driver, so I want to play a new driver, but I'm not going to spend $700 or $800 on a new driver right now. Maybe later this year we'll try out a new driver. But I think the game is good. I think, and I like being able to play what they're playing,
right?
If I want to, right? So,
are there other sports? Because I don't know much about like baseball, hockey, football, like equipment, but are there other sports that are consistently, every year coming out with new equipment that tries to make things like baseball bats, for example? Like, is there
bat? No, see, the standard in baseball, the bat is the bat, right? It's
right.
Particular designed.
They do mess with the handles quite a bit as far as the taper on the handle and things like that. But you're right. there's
It still has
basically
to
two
be
companies or something
a-
making bats.
and it's wooden and things
Yep.
like that. Really, where baseball messes around the most is with the ball.
Yeah.
because
Yes.
they can change the liveliness of the baseball very easily. So that's the thing that gets messed around with the most. I mean, the gloves are the gloves, the bats are the bats.
Mhm.
So
Hockey
um,
sticks are constantly evolving, different
yeah,
materials,
carbon
different
fiber
flexes.
and blah blah
Watch
blah.
a stick flex today versus one from 30 years ago, and there's a huge difference in it, right?
Yeah,
Right.
it's
But
crazy.
golf is the one sport that we can play just like the pros.
Right.
There are amateur golfers out there that are just, they might even be weekend warriors that are scratch golfers or better and can go out and shoot a 63 any day of the week. George Bryant just did that
Right.
today, or yesterday, whatever. And I like the fact that I can go say, hey, I really want to try that driver that DJ's hitting, or I want to use the same ball that so-and-so is hitting, and I can go to the store and buy it.
Right.
Right.
So is that, I mean, that seems to be the issue then is, with golf, manufacturing companies, they need to sell clubs, they need to sell balls, right? In order to do that, they need to consistently revolutionize technology and advance technology. Where does that stop at the professional level though? Because eventually, like we're saying, if they continue to go forward with drivers or like club technology, that could be the determining factor in distance. So where does that have to stop?
Sure.
Because
I think
should it eventually, where pros are forced to play with a specific club within a specific set of rules for their clubs, like how
and that's a good point, because that's really, I mean, the clubs are so much different.
Right.
And so now, when working with titanium came along, and they could bake it, and then they added carbon fiber, then they could meld the two, and I mean, then ceramics are coming. I mean, that's really, they're getting a livelier, more forgiving club face, and so I think your distance and control, distance especially because we're talking about it, is a combination of the two technologies, club technology and ball technology, right?
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think there comes a point where they may say, okay, we've developed this test to clubs that can only be X lively and Y
Absolutely.
forgiving, and Z
Yep.
and
And
weight,
that exists right now. There's only so much trampoline effect you can have. And there is a size limitation to the club. They might put more limitations on clubs, but I don't think they need to change anything the way it is right now. I don't think they have to take the clubs and go, nope, I don't like them. Everybody's going back to a persimmon driver and 3-wood and 5-wood. You can't hit anything but persimmon, and your irons have to be the Ricky Fowler Cobra blades. Well, I mean, that's where the true skill is going to come into play,
right? If it gets to the point where things are just super crazy, it's okay. Well, you can't use drivers anymore; they're gone. You can only use 3-wood down. Like, you can't hit a driver anymore.
Corey carries his 3 with 300 yards. I mean, come on, it's ridiculously awesome, but and I want to see it.
That's the main issue. They're not talking about 3-woods or anything like that. It's the driver and the golf ball. That's really it. Yep. It's those two pieces of equipment. There's nothing else
together
that they're talking about.
Right. Because there's a handful of professional golfers in the world that can swing the club fast enough and control it to where they can get, an average of 325 yards on every drive.
Yeah.
More power to you. That's why you're a pro and I'm not.
Well, and I will say one thing. I will say one thing, though. Sports all reach a point where they have to react to things, right? So remember when hockey players were curving their sticks so badly, the blades of their sticks, that the puck was, you just didn't know where the shooter knew where the puck was going, but nobody else knew where the puck was going. And eventually they stepped in and said, okay, here's the standard, blah, blah, blah. We could see that. But, but right now, let these 8 guys that can do it, let them do it,
I say lean into it, kind of like the MLB does with pine tar on baseballs. Just kind of whatever. Just turn a blind eye. Yeah, you get people throwing crazy curves and crazy, crazy balls because
Hey.
they're just lathering it up in pine tar. They got it behind their
I've
ears
never-
and their hair.
I've
to the
never
bat.
seen I've
Yeah.
never seen a pro take out a can of Pam and
Yeah.
spray it on the face of his driver. I have seen amateurs do it though.
Oh yeah.
None of us, but I've played with people that have done that. And hey, it helped
Carry
to keep the
Vaseline
ball
in the
play. I
bag and-
don't care, right?
Right.
Yeah. And it does. It works tremendously well if you're ever
If you're a
inclined
huge
to try
slice,
it.
if you're a huge, it's so funsies. If you have a huge slice or a huge hook, take a can of Pam with you and head out to the course one day and spray the faces of your club before you swing it. It will straighten the ball out for you.
Oh, that's
You were
crazy.
talking, was it a week ago or 2 weeks ago, Aaron, about PXG and how you didn't like their commercials and
Oh,
stuff.
it's
something
just the
about their
announcer.
commercials, right?
It's just the guy
Yeah.
who does the announcements is just like, man, oh, it just
Yeah.
drives me crazy. I don't
It's
know
the same
why.
guy that does Duluth Trading Company underwear commercials,
yeah,
right?
it is. It
Is
is so.
it?
No, I don't think it is.
BXG.
Kinda
We
sound-
need our clubs.
All right.
Yeah.
Make them different.
So I bring that up because we're talking about the clubs and stuff, but Peter Finch just has a video that came out. He went to a $30,000 club fitting with PXG at the a club called Scottsdale National.
How
Yes.
in the world?
Wait.
Okay, I need to
So
know what.
Scottsdale National has 3 courses, right? 2 nice 18-hole courses. One's a link style with 6 par 5s, 6 par 4s, and 6 par 3s.
Cool.
The other one's a more traditional golf course, and they have a whole course, a par 3 course called the Bad Little Nine. This course has never seen anybody break par on it.
Wow.
Yep,
The
it's
Bad
incredibly
Little
difficult.
So
For
what
par
is like
3.
a 300-yard par 3 on there? Like
No. It's just an incredibly difficult greens complexes, and it's amazing. Go watch it. It's really cool. So this $30,000 club fitting was over a couple of days. You got a whole day of like club fitting every club plus all the clubs, right? So once you got fit, you got all the clubs, bag, plus a full wardrobe. It's an extremely exclusive golf course. So apparently it's $750,000 to join it.
that's crazy.
And you can play it as a member, of course, or a guest of a member, or one of these experiences that you can do here with PXG. So there was a club fitting, full wardrobe, food, course access. I got to play all the courses, yeah, it was just, it's pretty amazing. 30 grand.
I just
Not quite as bad, or it's a lot worse than the Mike Burry experience I told you about, Aaron. And Jeff, I didn't get a chance to share this with you. Mike Burry is a very well-known coach, swing coach. He's got a place down in Texas, and he's doing for $2,500 2 days of teaching and get to play on the course, but you also get to go with Zach Radford or Matt Fisher, who's Mr. Short Game. So for $2,500, 2 days, you and like 20 other people can get classroom and on-course teaching between by Mike Burry and these other people.
I could buy an entire set of a brand new set of golf clubs for them.
$2,500
Less than that amount.
Yeah.
I could go get
$2,500
fit with a full set of
Yeah.
golf clubs for less than that.
Get your MP20s, your new MP20s. and
Oh,
have some
Doing
fun.
that, doing a golf school later on this year up at Boyne, and I'm not even paying that much for that.
that's crazy.
Right. But hey, it's still pretty cool. But check out that club if you get it, the Bad Little Nine. Peter Finch plays it, and it's very interesting. It's definitely a course I'd like to play, but I don't think we'll ever get to play because I don't have 750 grand just laying around to join.
Oh, okay. So I just went to look at it and I see why it's very difficult. So there's just from the picture, there's a green complex with sheer drop-offs down into rough with moguls everywhere.
It's all shaved,
Elevation
right?
Yeah,
Hills.
it's shaved. It's crazy. There's no bunkers, but it looks like they just put these greens onto like little cliffs almost.
Oh, that's not even funny. I mean, it is. But
Yeah.
Well, don't you want to be the first person to break par on the course, though?
I bet you get like a plaque or something.
I mean, it's got to be worth something, right?
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
That's crazy. That's a crazy looking course.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, moving on. So the PGA Tour sent a memo out to players this week, and Rex Hogard, a journalist, kind of outlined what it is. So it's dealing with the adjustments to eligibility and how the FedEx Cup points are awarded next year. So basically, next year there are 16 designated events, including the 4 major championships, the Players Championships and championship, and 3 FedEx Cup playoff events. There'll be 8 other tournaments that have not been announced yet as elevated events. So to qualify for these events, the player must finish inside the top 50 on the previous season's point list. So at the end of this season, whoever's in the top 50, those players are guaranteed into the elevated events. Not bad. The top 10 players from the current season's point list will also be eligible for the designated events, as will the top 5 players from each swing between designated events. It gets confusing, even more so. They plan to minimize isolated weeks between full field events and designated events like this year's Honda Classic, which was stuck between the Genesis Invitational and the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and use those swings to create avenues for players to play their way into the bigger tournaments via mini points lists. Current year tournament winners and any player inside the top 30 in the world ranking, provided they are a tour member, will also qualify for the designated events, which will have fields of 70 to 80 players and feature no cuts. We already knew about that. All players 51 and beyond on the final points list will carry their FedEx Cup points from the regular season and first playoff event and continue to accumulate points through the fall to finalize eligibility for the next season.
What are they going to
So
play?
there could be some
fall?
movement. Apparently, there's going to be some tournaments in the fall, which we thought there wasn't going to be, right?
Yeah, I heard a rumor that wasn't happening anymore.
Right. The top 125 players on the points list through the final fall event will be exempt into all full field events and the players the following season, as will the top 10 players from the DP World Tour points list and the top 30 players from the Korn Ferry Tour season finale, and a top 5 in ties from Q School, which is being brought back this year.
I'm bringing back Q School. Okay.
Yep. So 700 FedEx Cup points will go to the winner compared to 500 points for a winner of a full field event. So if you get into one of these elevated events and you win, you get 700 FedEx Cup points. Opposite field events, so the Punta Cana and stuff like that, there's a couple of them. If you play one of those events and you win, you only get 300 points. And major championship winners will get 750 points. Big disparity in points there. So they're really, in my opinion, creating PGA Tour A and PGA Tour B, and really separating the top from the rest. Right. Is what it sounds like, right? So players winning opposite field events are not automatically eligible for the elevated events like other future winners. So is it A, B, and C now? Because if you play in one of these opposite field events, you're going to get a lot less points and you're not eligible to go into an elevated event, even though you won it.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Are they just making it so that the top 50 is all they give a shit about anymore?
I think with all those rules, I'd rather fill out the long form by hand.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That was ridiculous.
That's a lot, right?
But
and that was just it's just a touch on the memo. There's a lot more to it, but
that's crazy.
I figured that was enough.
Why is it so convoluted? I don't understand why it needs to be so.
Like, yes, the tournament started on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Sunday's winner.
Yeah. You know, 60% of the time they're 100% accurate, right? So,
right.
They've reacted so hard and so fast to live, and they're trying to keep their players, right? So they're throwing all this money and giving all this guaranteed stuff to everybody. that I just think it's as the thought process was as bad as Liv's process for launching what they had. So let's react really, really fast and really hard to this process, that this competing tour throughout there that's not really all that great anyway.
Right.
And let's just say, hey, you know what? If you're one of the best players in the world, you only got to work about 16 weeks a year and you're going to make a shit ton of money.
Well, so Q school, I don't know. I never minded the idea of Q school. Right?
Love Q school. Yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't have a problem with it at all. It was kind of sad to see it go. But the rest of it just sounds like a big old CF to me. I mean, just again, we came up with a solution to a problem that doesn't really exist.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's going to get even more confusing as time goes on and more information gets released and they start tweaking it even better. So it'll be interesting to see if it lasts more than a year or two and they start to make other additional changes, to allow more people into the field.
I guess too, one of the things, I mean, I'll probably should wait to see if it gets the results that they're looking for. I guess it would help if I knew what the results were that they're looking for specifically, but if we can get some talent up and into the PGA and fill spots that have been attrited from Live and other things and see some of this great talent, then okay, I mean, maybe it's not quite as glaringly painful as I think it's going to be, but whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So more will be released, and as it gets released, we'll try to stay on top of it, but it's a little convoluted. So
sounds like you got the best handle on it, so glad you volunteered
to
figure that one out for us. Thanks.
Yeah, I just again, I think they're reacting and doing so poorly, but whatever. Again, leadership isn't what I'd want it to be on the PGA Tour. We've talked about that before. As much as I don't think Greg Norman is the right person to lead Live and be impartial and do things that are in the best interest of the tour rather than how can I fuck the PGA as much as possible. I think the PGA is trying to do the same thing to Live and doing the same thing there. I mean, Liv's going to die if they can't replace their players naturally through some form of developing talent. How do they survive?
It's just, I mean, we're at the point now where it's just two grown men having a dick measuring contest to see who can win, right. And it's just, it's kind of ridiculous to watch.
Yeah. And my good point. I think of all the professional sports, Live is the only one without some kind of farm system, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have PGA has the other tours. Every sport's got a farm system, and,
right.
and I don't use that in a bad way. That's where they develop the talent that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Live has what is I would call a poaching license. And that's how they do it.
Yep.
Yeah. And what happens when these contracts start to come up in 3 or 4 years when they're done? What are they going to do? So it'll be interesting to see what happens. So, do you guys like the match play? Did you watch any of the match play at all?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
Do you like the format?
I do enjoy match play, and
Same.
And this
Me too.
This is why. You can have a miserable hole and somebody else can shoot lights out and it's only a one, no matter how bad and how good it goes, it's a one swing, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes those 2-shot swings are exciting. Sometimes you see that 3-shot swing, but I still think that keeps it very close, very competitive throughout the match. And that's what I like.
It's also, it's the best part about it is those underdog stories, right? Where you have like the first day,
Sunday.
Ricky Fowler beating John Rahm. And everyone was like, that's never going to happen. And Ricky won by 2 shots against John Rahm. And it was just, stuff like that is really fun to watch. It's people going out there and playing, their best golf that day and winning.
Yeah. Sunday, because we were busy in the morning, I turned on the afternoon play and I'm like, excuse me, but the world's number 1 and number 3 aren't playing each other for the win here?
Yep. No. Yeah, Sam Burns came through 119 holes it took him to get his 5th and biggest win on tour. Actually, he got $3.5 million for that effort. He beat Cam Young 6-5 after 8 birdies in the final 10 holes. He won the final match 6-5.
Yeah, he caught fire at the right time, and Cam cooled off. So
yep.
Yeah, and they were both playing lights out. I really thought Cam was going to get his first win here, right? And man, he didn't, but he played really well. And talk about a budding star that's just waiting for his first win. He did the same thing last year in his rookie year. He had the best rookie year we've seen in a long time. So I did send Aaron,
friends, aren't they too? Those two are friends.
I think so.
I think so. I sent Aaron a clip during this of Will Zalatoris putting from, what was it, about 4 feet?
Oh, it probably wasn't even that. I mean, it looked like about two or 3 feet.
Oof, he's got some putting troubles again. He like started and stopped and then pushed it way past the hole. It was Will.
He went like his putter head was like this. He went like that. Like he pulled it back, stopped it, then like that.
Yeah.
It was
like, dude.
I mean, we've had some gifts before, but I've never seen anything like this. So I hope he figures it out because he's a talented guy. Yeah. Rory and Scotty both looked like they were gonna just be the ones in the final match, and it didn't happen. So, and of course the Liv fans who hate Rory. There's the hate for Rory among Liv people is incredibly strong. I mean, it's just incredibly strong. Yeah, he's the mouthpiece, right?
He's chippy,
and he doesn't ever shut up about it. Sometimes, sometimes I get saved. I'm like, come on, leave it.
Yep.
But it was pretty nice. Burns holed a 15-footer to beat Scheffler on the 21st hole, and that's the great thing. Both those matches went into extra holes,
right?
So it was a long day for some of these golfers.
It's the other thing I like about match play.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So it was really good. I enjoyed it. There's a lot of people calling for the FedEx Cup playoffs to be match play.
I would love to see that.
I'd actually watch more of it.
Yeah,
I think I would too.
At least having one tournament that's a match play format. Like the finals, obviously you go in, it's a stroke play, that makes sense. But having one of those tournaments towards the end there being a match play tournament would be a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just don't like hey, let's give the number one person 10 strokes, so they start at -10.
Yeah, I don't like that. I'm not a big fan of that.
I'm not a fan of that. We talked about that last year. I'm just not a fan of it either. So while that was going on, they were also playing in the Corrales Putacana Championship, and it was one of those events that is only going to get 300 points, and if you win it, you don't get into any of the elevated events next year. But Matt Wallace came out, and the Englishman really got his first PGA Tour win, and his first win since 2018 on the DP World Tour. So it was a pretty good win for him. It's a pretty neat course. I watched a little bit of it going kind of back and forth between that and some hockey, I think, that I was watching at the time. A lot of people are going to look at this and go, yeah, but nobody was there. Well, it was still some of the best golfers in the world, right?
PGA pros.
You still have to beat them.
And you got to win, right? You just got to win.
Yeah. So congratulations, Matt. That was awesome. This week we had the Valero Texas Open, which is Ricky Fowler's last chance to try to get into the Masters. And
I can't pick him, but I would love to see him win.
He has to win. He has to win. So this is one of the oldest events on the tour. It goes back to 1922, and Bob McDonald won the first Texas Open at Brackenridge Park Golf Course. It's still going strong. They come back to TPC San Antonio for the 90th playing of this tournament, and it's not a designated or elevated event, but it's still a really important event because the winner gets into the Masters. And nobody else can get in. So nobody can impact their ranking enough to get into the top 50 to do this. So you have to win to get in. JJ Spawn was returns as defending champion, and it's an $8.9 million purse. It's not chump change. The winner gets $1.5 million. So it's a pretty good event. Check out the field. Let me know who you got. I'll give you my pick right away. I'm going with Akshay Bhatia this week. So
okay,
I think that he's played extremely well, and he has a solid chance to do something here.
I'm gonna go with Cameron Champ
There you go.
this week. I'm surprised Spieth isn't playing. This is normally one that he plays. It's in its home state, and he's usually a big fan favorite there. But I must just want to week off before the Masters.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing.
Cam Davis.
That's a good one too.
There you go. LPGA was in action.
Yeah, they were.
LPGA was in action.
They were.
Celine Boutier won.
Yes, she did, as a matter of fact. So good for her. Congratulations, awesome. Yeah. Celine. I think, let's see. I know that's her second win within a little while. She won last year.
It's her third title.
Right, third of her career, right?
Most of any French golfer on the tour. So she gets past Patricia Meunier-Lebuc and Anne-Marie Pally to get with that third win, and she beat Georgia Hall. So they're teammates for the not the Ryder Cup. Oh my God, the Solheim Cup. Thank you. Right. So she was pretty overwhelmed with the win. Loved it. It was a great event at Superstition Mountain.
Yeah.
And it looked really, really good. So I don't know when they play next. I think
this weekend.
This weekend, where are they playing?
Yep. At Palo Verde Estates in California. It's the Dio Implant LA Open. So
the Dio Implant.
Yeah. And Nasa Hataoka won this event last year. So I'm glad you handled the French names. I can handle the Japanese ones. So
there you go.
Nasa Hataoka won it last year. So we'll see if she can repeat that.
Yeah, and this coming week is the 4th year for the Augusta National Women's Amateur. So it's an event where they play the final round at Augusta National. I think every year they've had it, only the round at Augusta National has been broadcast. They're doing all 3 rounds this year. There's been some exceptional golf played by these wonderful amateur ladies. So it's something to watch if you've never checked it out. Plus, on the 3rd day, you get to watch Augusta. So it's a pretty good event there. Liv plays their 3rd event this weekend at the Liv Golf Orlando in Orange County National is where they're playing. I don't know if anybody will show up on the leaderboard, right? So where are the names? Where's Cam? Where's Dustin Johnson? Where's Brooks? Well, Brooks Koepka is just not playing good golf right now. He's still not 100%. Where are all the names? They're not at the top of the leaderboard. And if we have to watch somebody that shoots 42 over par combined for the last 2 events, finish last again, I'm going to put a petition in to join Live Golf.
I was going to say, I'm giving him a call.
For sure.
I will carry clubs for my team. I will take care of their luggage.
I'll be the water boy.
I will do a lot. Yeah. I will do a lot for that.
High quality
You bring this up, but there was a story, and I only read part of it. There's a football player that's playing in the NFL right now, and he said that the water boy got him up and off the couch and got him playing football. And he credits the water boy movie for his NFL career.
Good for him.
Great. That's
awesome.
Bobby Boucher inspired me to play football.
That's awesome. So we'll see if anybody can do anything here. They're playing a course. It's just over 7,300 yards. It's called Cricket Cat. It's got some elevation changes, but the greens are ginormous here apparently. So I think the only thing going forward is if the wind gets up, it'll be a little bit tricky. So it shouldn't be all that hard of a course for them to play on. We'll see and see if anybody watches. According to some reports, their viewership for the last event was down 24%.
For Live?
Yep.
So 24 of the 100 fans didn't watch it?
Well, I don't know. If you listen to Liv talk their stuff, they said they had 3.4 million fans on their first tournament.
And I'm being facetious.
Watch
it. But I just, I'm not. For as much as I'm
3.4
not,
million.
yeah, I'm not anti-lib by any stretch of the imagination, but I just want the
Yes,
product.
we are. Everybody said so.
Oh, I just want a better. I want to watch a better product than what they got out there right now. It's tough for me to watch them.
It is difficult to watch. If you haven't checked out Brian Bros recently, go watch George shoot 63 at his home course. It was pretty fast, round of 18, not a lot of talking throughout it and no extra stuff. It's pretty good. He's hitting the ball extremely well. I would love to play around a golf with George and Wesley. I think those two have the perfect game if you combine them. Wesley missed the cut at Punta Cana, I believe.
Yeah.
So by a shot or two. He's just not there. He's just not been able to bring it back the last couple of years, So hopefully he can. I love him. I think he's hilarious. And watching him and his brother play golf and chirp at each other is hilarious. Well, Wesley does all the chirping. George is just Mr. Positivity. Hey, 24 feet for birdie. Yes. And Wesley's like, 24 feet. You're happy with 24 feet? You should be inside of that. Come on. Well, what do you got, Aaron? You got anything this week?
We got nothing crazy this week. We've just been, working on the game, the office room a lot this weekend. Didn't really get a chance to watch a lot of golf. Been working on some other wedding stuff, getting the menu and stuff ready to go. So that's been kind of what we've been working on. Yeah. But I'm ready for the Masters.
Yeah. I've been in the garage hitting the ball again a little bit every day. So working on that transition to get my lead shoulder moving forward so I'm not hanging back. And I'm really stomping down with my lead foot in my downswing to get my hips turned early. And what I'm finding is I'm more often than not compressing the ball and I'm not hitting fat shots very much. So I still hit the occasional fat shot because I don't rotate and I hang back, but I'm really working on getting that lead shoulder forward and then really turning my hips quicker to get that contact where I want it. So, and I'm going to try not to fix my game on the course this year. I'm just going to go out and do it.
First
Aaron,
time out.
I got $20 says that he's fixing it by May.
I'm not even going to take that bet because
not going to do it.
I don't want to have to pay you $20.
I know.
We know how this works. We'll make sure we mention that on the show.
Yes, please do. Please do. Call me out for my bullshit. So, well, it's awesome. Masters next week. I'm going to reach out to a couple people, see if we can get some guests on the show. Maybe get Matt Walters, get Luke, get Eric on the show, and see if we could talk all Masters, all Augusta, all stuff like that. So come up with your favorite memories from the Masters, who your favorite win was, things like that. And let's just have a good show about the Masters next week and enjoy the first major of the year. And then get ready for major season. We'll get started. So,
isn't it the second?
First. Players isn't.
First. Players.
Oh, Players. That's right. Players is not a major.
Widely considered the fifth major, but not really.
Yep.
So,
right.
Yep. Obviously, by me in my head, it was. So
we're not the LPGA. The LPGA does have 5 majors. So
yeah, that's true.
The PGA Tour does not. So it'll be interesting to see if live golfers show up. There's going to be 18 of them in the event, I believe.
All right.
DJ and Cam are probably the two most likely to succeed from people's points of view.
Is Cam going to be at the Masters?
Yes, he's got a 5-year exemption based off his win at the
Open.
That's
right. Yeah, that's right. He does have a major win.
So, and he can play at the Open Championship until he's 60 since he won there. So if he wins another major, you can just extend that streak and continue to show up. He had an awesome quote. He goes, not one person, not one friend has told me to piss off because of me, because I joined Live.
He seems like a pretty down-to-earth dude. So
I'm not sure why anybody would tell you to piss off. And, Rory and has been extremely vocal and has not continued friendships because of this, but I think that's stupid. So, is what it is.
Is what it is.
To each their own. Yeah. Anyway, the weather's starting to turn. Hopefully we can get out here soon and play a little golf. If it could stop raining for a little bit and things could dry up, that would be spectacular. I'm off next Thursday and Friday to specifically watch the Masters and play a little golf. You are off too? Mm-hmm. Yes, we get to watch the Masters. I'm very excited about it. Aaron's got to work because
Yep.
he's got to save PTO for the wedding and other stuff. So I'm sure you'll have it on in the background somewhere.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There
I have
you
4
go.
monitors at my desk. One of them will have the Masters on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button for us and hit the like button and leave us a comment, even if it's a negative one, which we seem to get a lot of whenever we talk about live. We're not anti-live. We're just anti-bullshit. And there's a lot of bullshit on both sides of the ball right now from the PGA Tour and live golf. So everybody grow up and treat each other with respect, and let's go out and have some fun playing some golf. Thanks, everybody.
Have a great week.
Bye.